What's going on, everybody? A lot of people have been hitting me up saying, Marsh, I am tired of the Donovan Mitchell trade rumors. And I feel that because I'm tired of talking about him. But if you want the trade to happen, hit that big red button. We are 300 subs away from getting to 13,000 subs on the channel. And I think it's just logic. The more subs we get, the more likely a trade's going to happen. So if you want the Donovan Mitchell Knicks trade to go through, hit that big red button. Welcome into New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. In today's show, we're going to break down the latest reports on Donovan Mitchell coming from Marc Stein. And then on the tail end of the show, we're going to talk about a familiar face, Carmelo Anthony, as rumors are coming out from Jake Fisher, where he is saying Carmelo Anthony wants to be a Knick. We're going to break all that down in today's show. But let's start with what Marc Stein had to say. He said he thinks that if a trade happens between the Knicks and Mitchell, that the Lakers will most likely be involved. He said if the Knicks manage to win the trade race for Utah's Donovan Mitchell, or even if another team unexpectedly beats them to Mitchell, league sources say there's a decent chance that the Lakers will be involved in the deal. The two future first-round picks that the Lakers possess in 2027 and 2029 are the kind of top-shelf draft picks that Jazz CEO Danny Ainge, let's type FDA in the comments, is believed to covet. He went on to say Russell Westbrook's $47 million expiring contract and those picks could be the Lakers' entry to a potential three-team swap, depending on the players that would land in Los Angeles. He also said the Lakers, I'm told, continue to hold firm on their position that they will agree to surrender both of their future first-rounders in the same deal only if the trade makes them a certified contender. Question is, does a three-teamer that route, say, Utah's Bojan Bogdanovic and New York's Evan Fournier to the Lakers, rise to that level? First, I think that would make the Lakers a competitor. I mean, you'd add a shooter in Bogdanovic and a shooter in Evan Fournier. That's what you want around LeBron James. But it sounds like the Utah Jazz want 4 unprotected first-round picks, and I get that. You obviously want to get the most in a return of a trade of Donovan Mitchell. He's a superstar, 25, 3 years left on his contract. You want to get as much as you can. And it sounds like the Knicks are kind of holding firm on giving up only 2 unprotected first-round picks to stay available and flexible in a deal coming down the line. Because if you trade 4 unprotected first-round picks, that eats in to what you can offer later in the road or down the road for a superstar. So it sounds like the Jazz want 4 unprotected first. And if you got to go to the Lakers for the Lakers to offer in a first-round pick, get the Lakers involved. Do what you got to do to make this trade happen at this point. And if it's the Knicks are having to get the Lakers to go and get involved in this trade, make it happen. Bojan Bogdanovic, Evan Fournier would be great gets for the Los Angeles Lakers. To get shooters around LeBron James, Leon Rose, whatever you have to do to get the Lakers involved, to add that little bit of sweetener on top to land Donovan Mitchell in New York, get it done. Because honestly, I'm not giving up more than 2 unprotected first-round picks, maybe 3 if I really had to. Final offer, I'd offer 3 unprotected first-round picks. But get the Lakers involved so they can offer more and get you more picks going towards Utah for Danny Ainge. I'll ask you this question. How many you protected? And that's supposed to be unprotected. It's okay, though. It's Sunday. It's late. We were drinking for the Giants game. It's all right. How many unprotected first-round picks would you, right there, that guy watching this video, how many unprotected firsts would you offer for Donovan Mitchell? Remember, the Knicks offered 2, and the Jazz declined. They can offer up to 4. So it's either 3 or 4 if you really want this deal to get done. Sound off in the comments. My thought process at this point with Leon Rose, the Knicks, and this whole negotiation is get the deal done or move on. It's really that simple because this isn't a cloud of smoke or anything that you want hovering around this franchise once you go into the regular season. Decide. You're going to do it or you're not going to do it. Don't let this cloud of toxicity hover around you going into the regular season. because this is a toxic space for a franchise and an organization to operate in. Because right now, you have young players. And I know it's part of the business. It's part of being an NBA player. It's a business. Business is business. It's strictly financial. I get that. But young players like Obi Toppin, Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickley, Cam Reddish, it's just not a good way to build a roster and head into a season with all this uncertainty of Obi may get traded. He thinks he's going to get traded. Quentin Grimes doesn't know if he's going to get traded. Emmanuel Quickley doesn't know his future. It's not a good space to operate in, especially with young players. That's what the Knicks have. That's what the Jazz want. So figure it out. Do it now or don't do it at all and move forward if you don't until the All-Star break or until next season. Because young guys that you need to produce this year need to be in a good mental spot. You don't want Quickley, Toppin, or Grimes worrying about, am I getting traded today, tomorrow, next week? That's not a good way to operate. Let's go back to the trade that Shams Charania reported that the Knicks offered to Danny Ainge and the Utah Jazz. It was Obi Toppin, Evan Fournier, additional salary, either Cam Reddish or Miles McBride, and 5 first-round picks, 2 of those being unprotected picks from the New York Knicks, and the other 3 are protected picks that aren't even able to get into the top 10. So those picks really aren't all worth that much. The 5 first-round picks sounds like a lot, but remember, there's protections on those protected picks, which really makes them not all that valuable. This deal was offered by Leon Rose and turned down by Danny Ainge. So this is my final trade offer. This is the trade offer that I would offer up. And then if they say no, I move on. I go forward. I do what I got to do. I get ready for the regular season and try to put the best team together for this team. This is the last move or the last offer I would make. And that would be Obi Toppin, Evan Fournier, as well as additional salary. And I would go up, instead of 2 unprotected, I know I said I wouldn't do it, but I'm doing it right now. I would go 3 unprotected. That's the final and the furthest I would go. 6 first-round picks, 3 being unprotected, 3 being protected. Let me know, would you make this trade? You got to remember, the Jazz already turned down an offer of Obi, Fournier, and 5 first-rounders, 2 of those being unprotected. So you're going to have to offer a little bit more if you want them to bite. Would you make this deal? It's the furthest I would go. Type A for accept, type D for decline. I want to give a shout out to all of the real ones out there. You guys have been holding it down, and you guys have been showing your true colors. If you're a real one of New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports, I want you to get a t-shirt. Show me you're a real one. Get your shirt to rock throughout the regular season. Go to chatsports.com/real Knicks. Get your shirt today. They're flying off the shelves. And if you get a shirt, take a picture of it in it. You rocking it. Send it to me on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_, and we'll put it on the show. I want to take these tweets from Tommy D and kind of just talk about what he's reporting. He's saying, this feeling comes from talking to NBA folks who have had great info on the deal since June. That's about all I can really share at the moment. The Knicks aren't the only suitors. It will take great discipline to get the Jazz to match their internal asking price. He went on to say, contract aside, framework on picks, as we've talked about here for weeks, is set. 5 total, 3 unprotected, 2 swaps. Fournier is a name that has come up when RJ Barrett's name hasn't been included. That has changed per reports. Jazz want 3 young New York Knicks impact players, and here we are. I also want to talk about this tweet from Tommy D. Give me a second here. I'm going to pull it up. He says that a lot is happening behind the scenes in the Knicks and Jazz talks. My sense after the past few days is if a trade does happen, fans aren't going to be enthusiastic with the results. Again, no idea how they, being the Knicks, win this trade. He made it seem like it's going to happen now or it's going to take a couple of weeks. The Jazz are just waiting for the right offer, and that's what a good business does. That's what a good team that operates with smart people does. I just don't believe how I want to say this. What I mean is the Jazz are waiting for the right offer, meaning that they have no intention of holding on to Donovan Mitchell to keep him and to build around him. We've talked about that time and time again on this show. If you know, you know. What I'm saying is they're waiting for the right offer. They are going to deal him. They do not want to start the season on their team. They're just waiting for the right offer. They have their price set. If it doesn't get met, I believe they will hold on to him. But to trade him eventually. No way are they trying to build around him. I do want to ask this question. Do you want Donovan Mitchell on the Knicks? Like, do you want it to happen? Talks have been going on for 2 months at this point. Maybe your ideas have changed. Maybe you're burnt out. Maybe you're not all that interested anymore. The emotions have passed. The trade high is worn off. Let me know. Do you want Donovan Mitchell on the Knicks? Type 45 if you do. Let's close out today's show talking about my guy, Carmelo Anthony. Reports are coming out from Bleacher Report that Carmelo Anthony has interest in returning to the Knicks. This has been a rumor that's been out there. It sounds like he wants a farewell tour with the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden rocking the blue and orange. I'd love to see Melo in Madison Square Garden again. I can already hear it now, the PA announcer. 3-point goal. I can hear it now. I can hear Mike Breen on MSG talking about Melo pulling up from 3. Bang. Like, I can hear it. I want it to happen. But it only makes sense if the Knicks trade for Donovan Mitchell. And the reason I say that is because if you have Obi and you have Julius Randle, where's he going to play? We'll pull up the roster here. Good job by producer Trace. He ain't a starter because you're going to start RJ, Grimes, and Brunson. And it's already a log jam coming off the bench at the 3 and the 4 spot with Cam Reddish, Evan Fournier, and Obi Toppin. So there's not that many minutes for Melo if you don't make the trade for Mitchell. But if you do make the trade for Mitchell and you trade Obi, maybe you trade Fournier, you trade Reddish, that opens minutes for a guy like Carmelo Anthony, who last year played 26 minutes per game for the Lakers and was arguably one of their best players. 13 points per game, 44% from the deck, 37.5% from downtown. Carmelo Anthony is not the guy anymore that just operates in the mid-range and does the ISO and the jab step. This is someone that can stretch the floor, can bury three-pointers in a flurry of possessions. This is someone that's an instant bucket off the bench, and I think it'd be pretty damn cool if Carmelo Anthony ended his career with the New York Knicks, where he might have had his best stretch of basketball. I'll ask you this question. Do you want Melo on the Knicks? Because we've asked it before on the show. I go down in the comments. Some say yes. Some say no. Let me know, though. If the Knicks trade for Donovan Mitchell, do you want Carmelo Anthony on the Knicks? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. I also want to say thank you, and I appreciate everybody that's made New York Knicks Now a part of their day today. If you made it this far in the video, drop a real one in the comment section. And if you're a real one, give me a follow on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. Everyone that follows me from today's video, I'll follow you back. Just DM me. Let me know that you came from this vid.